What if you could find hundreds of businesses, their phone numbers, emails, and even Facebook and Instagram links without paying for any scraping API or expensive tools? This system uses our own custom script with N8N running on our VPS server. No API limits. Just enter your search terms one by one, set the target lead count for each, hit submit, and relax. In a few minutes, your leads will be ready in Google Sheets, fully enriched and ready to use. In this video, I'm going to show you the step-by-step process to set up this system on your own server and integrate it with N8N. So let's get started. The logic is simple. We built a custom script that fetches business leads directly from Google Maps. Then, it visits each business's website to extract contact details like emails and social media links. First of all, we need a VPS server to run this script. For that, I'm using DigitalOcean, and I have a secret, super special offer for you. If you use the link in my video description, you'll get $200 credit, totally free for the first 60 days. All you need to do is sign up and add a valid payment method like a debit or credit card. It may charge you $10 or so, but don't worry, it will instantly refund back. This step is only to verify that you're legit and not a bot. After that, you'll be redirected to your DigitalOcean dashboard. Here, you can see I'm on my free trial now. First, let's create a new project. Just enter a name, let's say Contact Hunter. Select Web Application and hit Create Project. On the next screen, simply click Skip for now. Great, we've created a new project. Now tap on Create and select Droplets. Here, we need to set up a few preferences for our server. First, choose the server location. I'll select New York for now. Scroll down a bit. Under the operating system, select Ubuntu and choose the version 24.10 64-bit. Next, we need to pick a plan. To run our script efficiently, we'll need at least the $16 per month plan. If you're still in the free trial, you can also choose higher plans like $24 or $32 per month. But remember, once the 60-day free trial ends, you'll have to pay the same amount if you continue. So, keeping that in mind, I'll select the $16 per month plan. After configuring the VPS, we'll run some commands to install our script. But first, to log into our server via terminal, we need to create a root password. Enter a strong password here. You can also change the host name, but I'll leave it as the default for now. Finally, click Create Droplet. This will take a few seconds to set up your droplet or your server, and it's done. Let's open it. Now your server is completely ready. Next, we need to log into our server to install the custom script. For that, we'll use the Windows terminal on our PC. This is where we'll type commands to our server. Even if you're using Mac or Linux, you can follow the same method. We'll need to run a few commands here. I've already created a detailed blog post with all the steps. You'll find the link in the video description. Just head over to that and scroll to step 1. First, we have to log in to the server. Copy this command, go back to the terminal and paste it. Here, we need to add our server IP. So delete the server IP placeholder. Next, go to your DigitalOcean Droplet dashboard. Here you'll find your server IP. Think of the server IP like the home address for your VPS. It's the unique number that lets you connect to your server from anywhere in the world. Just copy this and paste it here. Then hit enter on your keyboard. Next, type yes and hit enter. Now, we have to type the root password we created during server configuration. While typing the password, you won't see anything on the screen due to security reasons. All you need to do is type it correctly and hit enter. Okay, now we've logged into our server. Go to the blog post again, copy the next command, paste it here and hit enter. This will take a few seconds. It may show something like this. Just hit enter once again. It's done. Next, let's install the required system libraries. Copy the command, paste it here and press enter. Now install Node.js and npm. Once it's done, we can verify the installation. Just run this command. If it shows the Node.js and npm versions like this, it means it was installed successfully. Next, install the PM2 process manager. Done. Now we have to clone our scraper script. I've already added the script in a GitHub repository named Contact Hunter. We just need to pull it to our own server. Copy this command, paste it here, and hit enter. It's done. Now the script has been installed on our server. Next, give this command to download all the packages required to run the script smoothly. Now, we need to configure the environment variables. This means creating a .env file to store secrets like an API key. Copy this command, paste it here, and press enter. Here, you have to set an API key. Our script has two API endpoints, one for scraping Google Maps data and another for scraping each business's website. Whenever we call these endpoints, we'll include this API key in the request header to prevent unauthorized access. I'll set this as API key 3004, but you can use any key you like. To save the file, press Ctrl+O on your keyboard, then hit enter. Now the API key is updated. To exit, press Ctrl+X. Next, run this command to keep our script running in the background. And now, the final step, we need to enable the port for our app to make it accessible. Run these commands to enable port 3000. Just type Y here and hit enter. And here we go. Our server setup is complete, and the Contact Hunter API is now live. To verify, copy your server IP. Go to your browser's address bar, paste it, add :3000 at the end, and hit enter. If it gives an output like this, it means our script is working perfectly. The reason it's showing not secure here is because we haven't configured the SSL certificate yet. But we don't really need it for this setup, so don't worry about it. Now we're moving on to the second part of this video. Since our script is exposing API endpoints, you can integrate it with any tool you like, whether it's a no-code automation platform like N8N, Zapier, or Make.com, or even a custom script in your preferred programming language. I've also added the API structure and example requests in the blog post, so you can use it however you want. But I know most of my followers love N8N. So now, let me show you how to build a simple N8N workflow to call our Contact Hunter API, fetch leads, and save them directly into Google Sheets. Just open your N8N dashboard and create a new workflow. First, let's add an N8N form trigger. We'll use this form to submit our search query. Start by entering a form title. Let's call it Contact Hunter. Then, add a form description. Use this form to start a batch lead search. Next, tap on Add Form Element. Set the field name as keywords and choose the element type as text. In the placeholder, let's add some sample search keywords like restaurants in New York and salons in New York. Users will also be able to scrape multiple keywords by entering them separated with commas, like this. Now, make this a required field. After that, let's add one more form element. Set the field name as target count for each keyword and the element type as text. For the placeholder, let's give 20. Basically, in our first API call to scrape data from Google Maps, we need to define two things: the search query, for example, restaurants in New York, and the targeted lead count, which means how many leads to scrape for each keyword. So we've added both of these fields now. Make this field required. Scroll down and tap on Add option. Select Form Response and change the text that shows once the form is submitted to "Your lead search has started." That's it. Now we've added everything. Let's execute the step. This will pop up the form we just created, and it will start listening for a test form submission. Let's add two search keywords, hotels in London and hotels in New York. For test purposes, let's set the target count as 2. Now hit submit. The form has been submitted and it triggered our workflow. Here's the output. It contains the keywords and the target count. But right now, this is only one item. We need to split the keywords into separate items so we can process them one by one. To do that, let's add a code node. Paste this script into it. Once we execute this, it will split the multiple keywords from one item into multiple items while keeping the target count attached to each, like this. Now we're ready to make the API call. But before that, let's add a loop node to process the keywords one at a time. Once we execute, this will output one item at a time. Back to the canvas, let's delete both of these. Okay, now let's add the HTTP node to make the API call. Set the method as get. In the URL column, type http:// then your server IP, which you can find from the DigitalOcean dashboard, then :3000, which is the default port, and finally /gmap. This is the base URL for scraping the Google business data. Next, we have to add the query parameters. So enable this. Enter the name as query, and in the value column, just drag and drop the keyword string like this. Now add one more parameter. Put the name as count, and in the value column, drag and drop the target count string. Next, we have to authorize the API call by sending the API key as a header. So just enable this. Set the name as API-key, and in the value column, enter the API key you set inside the .env file earlier. Now scroll down to the bottom. Sometimes the API call takes a long time to process, especially if the target count is high. So we need to add a timeout. Just tap on Add option, scroll to the bottom and select timeout. Set it as 1.8 million milliseconds. That means 30 minutes. Now we've set everything. Let's execute the step to make the API call. Now it triggers our custom script, and it will process the search query and return the lead list. This may take some time. Okay, it's done. It has scraped 2 Google business data based on our query. The results include their name, Google Maps link or Google Business Profile link, phone number, website, rating, and reviews. Let's pin this for now. Currently, this doesn't include email addresses or social media profiles like Facebook and Instagram because Google Business Profile doesn't show that information. So, next, we're going to make another API call to scrape contact details directly from each business's website. Back to the canvas, let's create a sub-workflow for the website scraping part. Here, select Execute a sub-workflow. In the workflow column, make it an expression and add this, double curly braces, $workflow.id, double curly braces. This will fetch our workflow ID dynamically. Next, tap on Add option and enable Wait for sub-workflow completion. This means the node will wait for our sub-workflow before moving on to the next node or processing the next keyword. Now, back to the canvas. Next, let's add a wait node and set the wait amount to 6 seconds. This will help our VPS server take a little breath after the first search query is completed. Now, back to the canvas, and let's loop this workflow like this. Next, we need to add this lead list to our Google Sheet. From the HTTP node, add a Google Sheet node. Set the action as Append Row in Sheet. Connect your Google account. If you're not sure how to connect, we've already created a detailed video on that, and you'll find the link in the video description. Now choose the Google Sheet where we want to save the leads. Here, I've created a Google Sheet named Contact Hunter Leads, which has 9 columns. We'll get the name, phone number, website, rating, reviews, and business profile link from our first API call. That means the Google business scraping data, but the email, Facebook, and Instagram links will only be fetched after the second website API call. Okay, so back to the N8N dashboard. Select the document as Contact Hunter Leads, then select Sheet 1. Set the mapping column mode manually. Let's map the fields. Now, in the name column, just drag and drop the name string. In the phone column, if we drag and drop the string like this, and if the phone number has a plus sign, it may show as an error in Google Sheets because Google Sheets considers it as a function. To avoid that, just add it as equals double quote, and in the middle of that, add the phone string like this. This way, the phone number will update correctly in Google Sheets as it is. Then drag and drop the website string. Since we don't have the email, Facebook, and Instagram yet, just delete those for now. Next, drag and drop the rating and reviews. And finally, add the maps link. We've set everything. Now let's execute it. It's done. The error showing below is because we haven't created the sub-workflow yet, so just ignore it for now. Now let's check the Google Sheet, and here we go. It has updated perfectly in the Google Sheet. Back to the canvas. Now let's create the sub-workflow part. Tap on the plus icon, search for sub-workflow, and select the trigger when executed by another workflow. Set the input data mode to accept all data. Back to the canvas. Let's move it here. So now, this node will trigger internally when called by the parent workflow. Let's execute the workflow. Once it reaches the wait node, stop it. We won't see the sub-workflow execution here. So go to executions, select the latest one, and here we can see the input received from our parent workflow. For further development, let's copy it to the editor. Here we have the inputs with 2 items. Next, we need to add a filter node because sometimes businesses may not have a website and we need to filter those out first. Tap on the plus icon, search for filter. In the filter settings, drag and drop the website string into this column. Change the rule to string is not empty. Let's execute the step. Now this will remove any data where the website field is empty. Here we got 2 items because both of these have websites. Now let's add a loop node to process 1 item at a time. Set the batch size to 1. Execute the step. Now we've got the first item in the loop branch. Let's delete this for now. Next, let's make the API call by adding an HTTP node. Set the method to get. In the URL column, do it the same way as before. http:// our server IP, then :3000/website. For our first API call, the endpoint was /gmap, but here it's /website. Enable query parameters. Set the name as URL. In the value column, drag and drop the website string. Now enable the header to set the API key. Set the name as API-key, and in the value tab, add your API key that you set earlier in the .env file. Let's execute the step. This may take some time depending on the website size. It's done. And here we can see the email addresses, Facebook, and Instagram links. Also, one more thing. If a website doesn't have any contact details, we won't be able to extract them, and it will return an empty string. Back to the canvas. Now let's update these details in the Google Sheet. Set the action to append or update the row in Sheet. Select your Google account and choose the same document as before. Here, select Sheet 1. In the column to match on section, select Website. So first, it will match the website link in our Google Sheet. Then update the emails, Facebook, and Instagram links in the same row. Now, in the website column, just drag and drop the URL string. We don't need to update anything other than email, Facebook, and Instagram. So let's remove all the other columns. Now, for the email column, we can't just drag and drop the string here. That's because there may be multiple emails and it could result in something unexpected. Instead, let's add it like this. Double curly braces, $JSON.emails.join, open parenthesis, double quote, comma, space, close parenthesis, double curly braces. This will update the emails perfectly like this. Now we have to do the same for Facebook and Instagram. Just copy this expression, make it an expression field, and paste it here. Then simply change emails to Facebook. Do the same for Instagram. Here, change emails to Instagram. Now we've added everything. Let's execute the step. It's done. Let's check the Google Sheet, and here we go. It has updated the same row with the emails, Facebook, and Instagram links. Back to the canvas. Now, we've done almost everything. But remember, we added an option in our parent workflow. Wait for the sub-workflow completion. This means it will frequently check if our sub-workflow's final node has executed or not. So our final Google Sheet node can sometimes cause rate limit issues because there's a certain limit enforced by the Google Sheets API. The best way to avoid that is by simply adding a wait node. Set the wait amount to 1 second. Now, our parent workflow will check if the final node, that is, the wait node, has executed. And with this 1 second pause, we won't face any rate limit issues from the Google Sheets API. It's all done. Let's clear the executions. I'll also clear the Google Sheet and remove all pinned data. One more thing, we need to loop it here to process all the websites one by one. Now save the workflow. Let me quickly explain the logic once again. First, we submit the form with multiple keywords and the target count. Then, the code node processes the input to split it into multiple items. The loop node processes each keyword one at a time. Next, we make the API call to scrape Google Maps data. Once that's done, it updates the Google Sheet and also triggers the sub workflow. In the sub workflow, it takes the input data from this HTTP node. That's the Google Maps extracted data. Then it filters out items that don't have websites. The loop node makes it one item at a time, and it uses the website link to call our website scraping API. Once that's done, it updates the Google Sheet with emails, Facebook, and Instagram links. After processing all the websites, our parent workflow will trigger the next keyword, and the process continues. Now it's time to do the final test. Let's copy the N8N form production URL. Make sure to activate the workflow first. Open the production URL in a new tab and fill out this form to trigger the workflow. Let's add two keywords, restaurants in New York and restaurants in Los Angeles. For the targeted count, let's say 30 per each keyword. You can put any number here. For example, if you enter 100, the script will search for 100 businesses for each keyword. But if there are only 50 available, it will scrape those leads. Also, the bigger the number, the longer it will take to process. Now let's submit it. Okay, it should have triggered our workflow. Let's check the executions. And yes, it's running. Let's wait until it completes. Okay, it's done now. It took around 28 minutes for 60 leads. The time depends on your VPS server configuration and the number of leads being scraped. Here we see 3 executions. The third one is the parent workflow, and the top 2 are the sub workflows for scraping website data. We had 2 keywords, so it executed the sub workflow twice. Now let's check the Google Sheet. And here we go. All the leads have been updated. You can see some fields are empty because those businesses may not have contact details on their websites. Also, some websites may block scraping attempts. Now you can use these contact details to connect with them through phone, email, or even via Facebook and Instagram DMs. And one more thing, right now we're using the basic VPS server of $16 per month. So do not try to create multiple workflows to call the API at the same time. The server may get overloaded and result in errors. If you're planning to scale, I suggest upgrading to the $24 or $32 per month plan. Also, if you're on the free trial plan, you don't have to pay anything for the first 2 months. And that's it for today. You can find all the resource details in the blog post, which also includes the N8N Workflow JSON file. The link is given in the video description. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll be uploading more content like this in the upcoming days, so don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, if you have any doubts or feedback, please let me know in the comments. Until next time, it's me Rajiv, signing off.